ceremonial band. Is that all you can do? You know, performing under this heat in this kind of weather is really not easy, right? I think those guys in those with those smart uniforms, I think they deserve a bigger round of applause, boys! Yeah, show them your love. Alrighty, for those of you who just joined us, as well as to our friends by the sides, alright, we have limited seats. We are so sorry. Welcome to this year's Navy Open House 2013. Once again, my name is Juan. So good to see all of you here, despite, you know, the heat, despite the sun. Thank you all for being here. We really hope you're having a wonderful time so far. And we're going to move on to this next performance, which is by the SAF Military Police Command Precision Drill Squad, alright? Now, precision drill is about concurrently focusing on recollecting drill movements, executing the drill's movement precisely with beats of the music while maintaining good body posture and accurately moving to different formations required. Now, silent precision drill was introduced in the Singapore Armed Forces in 1984. It's a form of armed drills where a group of men perform in unison, requiring precise coordination and timing without the use of command. Alright, I'm sure you've seen them before performing at the National Day parades, but each time they perform, I'm sure all of us enjoy their performances just as much. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, once again, everybody make a lot of noise to welcome the Singapore Armed Forces Military Police Command Precision Drill Squad. gentlemen, give it up for the SEF Military Police Command Precision Drill Squad. Well, that was cool, huh? Did you enjoy that? Again, give those guys another big round of applause. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this year our Navy Open House, the theme is live in action, all right? For this next performance, you're going to see some women in action. And you will also find them pretty familiar at our various parades, all right? Now, we're going to be introducing to you the Singapore Police Force Women Police Pipes and Drums. Now, this band was established in 1972 and being the premier band in Singapore, it also has the distinction of being the only service band here to perform with bagpipes. Now, the pipe band was formed and trained locally with the Gurkha contingent pipes and drums and the Singapore Police Force Band. Now, over the years, the status of the women police pipes and drums have greatly been enhanced. The band has performed overseas in countries such as Indonesia, Hong Kong, Japan, Australia, France, Italy, Sweden, and also Germany. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together to welcome the Singapore Police Force Women Police Pipes and Drums. the Singapore Police Force Women Police Pipes and Drums. Excellent. Well, not only did they do a good job, the precision drill squad as well, and the ceremonial band as well. Like I mentioned earlier on, it's not easy to perform in this kind of condition. Please give all the performers another round of applause. Alright, are you guys excited yet? Yeah. That was only an appetizer. Now we're going to serve you the main course, alright? But of course, before we actually do that, let me very quickly remind you again to help us with the following, alright? Your handphones and TV devices, please switch to silent mode. No standing during the showtime, especially our friends at the back, the last row. And for parents with really young kids, to remind them that later on there will be some loud explosions, there will be some pyrotechnics, nothing to be afraid of, it's just for effect, but it's going to be pretty loud, alright? So if you've got really young kids with you, just cover their ears so as not to scare them too much. A little, like a little darling over there. Alrighty, okay? And this is of course our stage, but not only here is our stage, out there as well, alright? So some of the action is a little too far away for you guys, so there will be live feed during that particular performance, okay? So you have to also focus your attention on these two screens by the sides, because cameras are mounted onto the divers, all those involved, alright? And you can actually see the action on these two screens, okay? So in other words, it's going to be spectacular. You're really going to have a really, really good time. Okay, are you guys ready? Wow, really, yeah? So you're not hot anymore, huh? No, you're not hot anymore. Okay, so we can switch out to the fans. We want to conserve some energy here. Right, you're not hot anymore, right? Okay. Yes, you are. Alright, so this side, let me hear you make some noise to make sure you're ready. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let me hear you clap. Getting there. Alright, people in the middle. Let me hear you make some noise. Let me hear you clap. I have full confidence here because of my friends here. Yeah, alright, so you guys are going to make the most noise. Okay? Let me hear you make some noise. Let me hear you clap. Great job. So now, together, let's see if we can make it really, really loud, because like I mentioned earlier on, these guys, they are not professional stuntmen, they're not actors, they're the real deal. They are the ones who keep our Singapore waters safe. They are the ones protecting us. And today, on top of doing all that, they've put together this spectacular show for you. So you really, really have to show them your appreciation by making a lot of noise. So once again, people, are we ready? But I'm not, because I've got one last thing to tell you. After the show, do not be in a hurry to go off, because you can get up close and personal with the guys to have photo opportunities. You can take photos with them afterwards. Okay? Alright, looks like we're all ready. The stage is all ready. So ladies and gentlemen, Navy Open House proudly presents the Navy Sea Display Show.
Control. Frogman inbound. Time on target, 1 minute.
You are now witnessing a helicopter operation by our very own naval divers and the Republic of Singapore Air Force Chinook helicopter. What you're now seeing on screen is a rare glimpse of the action from the inside of the helicopter. In the next 15 minutes, we'll bring to you a high-tempo, high-energy and exciting demonstration of the Republic of Singapore Navy's capabilities. You will get to witness how our men and women conduct base defense, naval warfare operations and maritime security operations up close. So, please sit back and enjoy the show!
Providing security to Singapore starts from our naval base, and this is the responsibility of a group of unsung heroes, our sea soldiers.
Threat alert, skip spotter charging into sector 2. Base defense, deploy now, deploy now.
Singapore Navy trains extensively, regularly and realistically out in the open seas, well away from the eyes of the general public. Our sailors endure challenging environments and harsh elements, standing vigilant to protect Singapore's sovereignty. For the first time, you will see our Navy in action at sea.
Submarine bearing 3 345. Now dive. Datum established.
Clear, Roger. Launch Seahawk to locate submarine.
Launching Seahawk.
All stations keyword. Track warning now red. Close up action stations.
Hands to action station. Hands to action station. Assume damage control. State 1, condition Zulu.
Flash enemy fighter to the north. Strength 2. Now inbound. Cover enemy fighters with Esther missiles. Esther ready. Here surface. Seahawk reports enemy warship. Bearing 345, distance 50. Cover enemy warship with Harpoon missile.
Harpoon ready. Kilo sonar. Seahawk proceeding to dig for submarine.
Bravo Seahawk naval helicopter with its long-range active sonar or HELRAS is able to detect, classify and engage submerged target, both with its onboard torpedoes and through relaying of target information to the frigate for engagement.
Submarine detected. Torpedo ready to fire.
Command Bureau permission to engage enemy target.
Command approved.
All stations engage enemy targets.
Firing Harpoon. Esther's away. Launching torpedo.
Weapons launched. Time to impact. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kills confirmed. All enemy targets neutralized. Good job, gentlemen. Excellent.
While you are asleep, at work, or at play, the Navy never rests. And it's on a 24/7 watch over the Singapore Straits and its approaches. Together with multiple national maritime agencies, we are ever vigilant to ensure that our sea lanes are safe and kept open for trade.
This is Swift Rescue. Ship is under attack. Request assistance now.
Sir, just received the distress signal from Swift Rescue. Require immediate response.
Deploy ship storming team now.
Control, this is FCU. Moving in for investigation. Control, hostile spotted. Aboard Swift Rescue.
vessels, the threat has now been eliminated and swift rescue is now safe. That brings us to the end of the dynamic display. Joining us in celebration is a rarely seen sight above waters, the Navy's new Archer-class submarine to round off today's show. Presenting to you the Republic of Singapore Navy, capable, ready, and flexible. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the performers of the dynamic display.
Yes, indeed. That was excellent, wasn't it? Alright, remain seated. This is our final show. Alright, this is our final show. I will need your help. Now, what you see in front of you, of course, all the guys in action. Give them a round of applause. And remember diving unit. But there are also unsung heroes behind the scenes. All these guys you see in the yellow jersey, they ought to be applauded as well. Good job, guys. Don't forget it, our AV guy, our sound engineer that are in the bandage and you can't see them. Give them a round of applause as well. Our videographers, everybody behind the show, give them another big round of applause. We really hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and of course now they are ready for you guys to get up close and personal for a photo opportunity. But before you go, there's still a lot for you to discover and explore here at our Navy Open House 2030. For those of you making a move, I'm sure you want to get your free shuttle service back to Singapore Expo Hall 3. What you need to do is to walk in